Of the 4 terrestrial planets, only Earth and Mars have satellites. That's why Mars' satellite obviously sparks the interest not only of scientists but also astronomy enthusiasts. Hello everyone! What exactly do we know about Mars' satellite? Who discovered and took the first photos of it, and how will they be investigated from now on? Welcome, everyone, to our channel. Are you ready to find out everything about them in our video? So let's get started. The circumstances in which Phobos and Deimos were discovered are very interesting. You may have heard that in the 18th century, the English writer Jonathan Swift predicted the existence of these satellites. The third part of his famous book Gulliver's Travels shows a flying city called Laputa, where scientists discovered 2 satellites around Mars. The proposal was written in 1726, 150 years before the official discovery of Phobos and Deimos. But in practice, it's not that simple. Swift was neither an astronomer nor a clairvoyant. His book makes it clear that Swift was satirizing the scientific community of his time through the characters of scientists from Laputa who engaged in completely unrealistic, useless, and clearly harmful activities. This case is a parody of the astronomers who predicted the existence of 2 satellites around Mars. At the time, the theory that Mars had 2 satellites arose from a misinterpretation that Kepler made of a coded text by Galileo. Even after his mistake was pointed out, Kepler persisted with this theory, presenting new arguments. Kepler believed that the number of satellites of a planet increased in a proportional sequence. Mercury and Venus have no satellites, Earth has 1, and it was believed that Jupiter had 4. Therefore, Mars, located between Earth and Jupiter, should have 2 satellites. Considering that no real observation was made at that time, the arguments are strange and not very convincing. Swift must have heard about this theory, so it seems he was right to ridicule it. The search for the supposed satellites in Mars continued during Swift's lifetime and after his death, but it was only in 1877 that they were actually discovered. The lucky man who revealed the long-standing mystery in science was the American astronomer Asaph Hall. It didn't take long for him to come up with names for the 2 satellites, as they were named after ancient myths. Phobos, the ancient Greek god of fear, had a group of young gods and followers called Phobos and Deimos, who were indispensable in all wars. In their honor, the discovered satellites were named Phobos and Deimos. The first successful images of Mars' satellite were obtained in the late 19th century. The scientists of that time noted that these satellites were small, much smaller than Jupiter's Galilean satellites and the Moon. Neither Phobos nor Deimos are spherical. Phobos has a maximum diameter of 26 kilometers, and Deimos 15 kilometers. Both satellites orbit very close to Mars. For example, the average distance from Mars is only 6,000 kilometers for Phobos and a little over 20,000 kilometers for Deimos. Each of these satellites completes an orbit around Mars in 7 hours and 40 minutes, and a little over a day. The scientists also noted that, in general, Phobos and Deimos resemble more asteroids than the Moon or Ganymede. The prevailing theory currently is that these 2 satellites were ordinary asteroids before being captured by Mars gravity, which is exactly the theory proposed at this moment. Close exploration of Mars satellites was carried out using the same probe sent to the main body of Mars. The first complete photographs of the surface of Phobos and Deimos were taken by Mariner in 1971. The Viking probes, as well as the Global Sylvier, Mark's and the most recent orbiter, also conducted photo sessions. By the way, the first 3D images of the photos were taken by the Marie Express. Additionally, it's worth mentioning some unsuccessful missions. For example, the Aladdin program considered by NASA in the late 1990s was supposed to send a probe near the 2 satellites. However, the program was cancelled due to the enormous costs involved. 10 years earlier, in 1988, the Soviet Union launched 2 unmanned probes to Phobos. This was a very ambitious project that involved scientists not only from the Soviet Union but from all over Europe. However, the project was a major failure. The first unmanned probe, Phobos 1, lost communication shortly after launch. Furthermore, although the two probes successfully entered Mars orbit, they failed to complete their scientific mission. Finally, the onboard computer experienced a failure and was shut down. Due to these failures, the Martian satellite quickly became a highly debated topic among conspiracy theorists. Prior to this, several theories had been proposed, including the idea that Phobos was actually an empty artifact. Now, conspiracy theorists had the proof that their predictions were correct, namely, that aliens were sabotaging the mission to prevent it from being investigated by Earthlings. Of course, in practice, this had nothing to do with aliens. Mission failures occur before and after the Phobos probe. Scientists and engineers are also human beings and they make mistakes. Research has shown that Phobos and Deimos, like many other satellites, are in tidal lock, always facing the same side towards Mars. It's interesting to note that these satellites are so close to Mars that there is a difference in gravitational attraction between the side facing Mars and the far side. However, both gravitational forces are considered very weak. Additionally, due to tidal forces on Mars, Phobos' speed is gradually decreasing, and its orbit is shrinking, potentially leading to its eventual collision with Mars. Deimos, on the other hand, is moving away from Mars. Phobos is an object with exceptionally low density, indicating a large number of cavities. In other words, Phobos' cross-section resembles a sponge. Unfortunately, no spacecraft has landed on Phobos so far, so it is not possible to say for certain how it acquired such a unique structure. The most interesting surface feature of Phobos is the Stickman crater, which was discovered from photographs taken by the Mars Express. It is a crater with a diameter of 9 kilometers, believed to have formed about 1 million years ago when a Martian satellite collided with an asteroid. The impact was so powerful that it almost destroyed the satellite. There is another smaller crater within the Stickman crater, surrounded by grooves, likely caused by surface cracks resulting from the impact. There is also an unusual bluish structure on the southwestern edge of the crater, but its origin is unknown. Deimos has two large craters, which are the only named features at the moment. These craters are called Swift Crater, with a diameter of approximately 1 kilometer, and Voltaire Crater, with just under 2 kilometers. The surface of Deimos is smoother than that of Phobos, with fewer craters and irregularities. Almost the entire surface appears to be covered by fine-grained rock. And with that, we conclude our video for today. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Due to the small size of the Martian satellites, they are much more difficult to study, and there are still many unknowns. For example, their origin. As mentioned earlier, most scientists consider Phobos and Deimos to be captured asteroids by Mars. However, recent data indicates that these satellites may have formed in Mars orbit. Perhaps they were formed from some kind of collision that launched part of the Martian material into space. These two questions will have to be clarified by scientists in the future. In the meantime, please subscribe to our channel, enjoy our videos, and don't forget to share this video on your social media. Help us grow this channel. And now, we will say goodbye for a moment. I'll see you again soon here on the channel. A big hug, and until then, bye-bye.